Welcome back. It's time for us to change our conversation this morning. Still staying with politics, actually, but we will be taking a look at the state of the nation. We will also be looking at the choice of the PDP, flag bearer and running mate Atiku Abubakar, and those of other parties. Peter Obi, whose running mate has been announced to be Doyin Okupe, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC, whose running mate is said to be Ibrahim Masari, Kabiru Ibrahim Masari. To have this conversation with us, we have two gentlemen, a PDP chieftain, Umar Sani, and a PDP member, Wali Uluwadi. Good to have you with us.
It's my pleasure.
Welcome.
And Wali, good to have you too.
Thank you very much. All right, let's begin with Sani. I remember that in the build-up to the primary election of the PDP, the presidential primaries, most of you had canvassed for an open contest as opposed to those who were calling for the zoning of the ticket to the south. Yeah. Well, the primary election has been conducted, and winners, of course, emerged. Atiku Abubakar has emerged the presidential candidate of the party, and he has since picked Governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, as his running mate. Do you see the Atiku Okowa ticket as a formidable team that can go into the 2023 presidential election and emerge victorious?
Well, let me start by telling you that there is no better ticket than that of Atiku and Okowa. Both gentlemen are seasoned politicians. They have, labored and belabored themselves within the political space, and they have risen through the ranks to become what they are today. Let me start with Okowa. Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa has been a councillor in Delta State, rising from the position of a councillor to become a senator, to governor of a state, and a two-term governor for that matter. In his state, you cannot say he has not achieved. He's a silent achiever. He does not make noise over his achievement. He's a team player. He has so many advantages to his credit. He has institutional memory of the party because he has participated in so many committees in the Senate, so many committees in the political party. So bringing him to table with an Atiku candidature is a perfect team to take us to the promised land. Now, one may question why Okowa? Why not others? Well, Okowa stands out. Of the South-South geopolitical zone is second to the Northwest geopolitical zone in terms of votes. And the South-South has been very loyal to the People's Democratic Party. So it is only fair if the deputy comes from the South-South region of the party. And Edo State has a long way to go because his tenure does not end with others. So his tenure extends beyond the others. Now, if you go to even Cross River, he only defected, but it is a PDP state. We go to Akwa Ibom. Udom Emmanuel is a PDP chieftain and a PDP state. Go to Delta, it's PDP, and go to Rivers, it's PDP. Go to Edo, every segment of that area is PDP. Now, three are off. You can't go to Cross River to select. You cannot go to Edo to select because he has a long way to go. And the only 3 states that are standing is Delta, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom. Now, of these 3 states that are standing, you need to select one of the 3. And for the fact that only one person must emerge, the presidential candidate must look for somebody that will be compatible to his own style of leadership. He does not need somebody who will put him on the edge, always challenging his authority, challenging. He needs somebody who is level-headed, cool-headed, who has the capacity, the ability, and the wherewithal, as he has rightly captured it in his own statement, why he chose Okowa, and saying that Okowa can become president in his own absence. He does not want somebody who cannot be president while he's not away. And so the choice of Okowa at this point in time is the best choice that the PDP has made.
Many believed that the PDP was going to go for Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, because of the fight he put up, you know, the contest, a very formidable contest, you know, that he put up during the primaries, and of course came second in that contest until Governor of Sokoto State stepped down. But PDP did not go that route.
Yes.
Why so? Because we all know that Wike is a strong party man as well. He is also someone who holds the South very dear, very close, and very his voice is very strong in that part of the country, and also has what it takes to galvanize votes for the PDP in that region.
Well, I beg to differ in, not in the general sense that he has actually held the party very well. I'm only the second segment of your statement, where you say in the South he has the ability to galvanize, because it was in the South that he even lost. The governor of Daure Dede of Bayelsa did not go with him. Governor of Edo didn't go with him. Governor of Delta didn't go with him. Governor of Akwa Ibom didn't go with him. So that means he's only left with Rivers. Rivers State, his only state that went with him in the primaries. That is a pointer to his strength in that area, but that is not to undermine his strength. Now, the point is that if you take a holistic look at the situation, you look at who will have more baggage for a President Atiku than the other. Now, in the north, which now will turn out to be the battleground of all the other political parties, you don't need to go there with somebody who has a baggage in the north. Wike has made some inflammatory statements that the north feels offended. For instance, there was the issue of a mosque which was said to have been demolished in Rivers, and you know how religion plays an important role in politics and in politicking. So the northerners are holding that very tenaciously.
But the Rivers State government at that time, you know, came out to say that no mosque in Rivers State, you know, was demolished.
But there was no evidence to the contrary. It is only a statement. So it is my word against your own.
And there was no also evidence to confirm that no mosque were burnt in Rivers State.
Well, there were evidences that were distributed, and we saw it. And some other notable Rivers people, like Sari Dokubo, came out to say that yes, a mosque was demolished. So the thing is still open. Secondly, the issue where there was that Nigeria, in its own secular state, is a secular state. You can't go and say that Rivers State is a Christian state, and then you have no apology about that. That is to put in the face of Nigerians that you are saying that you are more or less concerned with Christianity, which is also a minus. It is just like this for Tambuwal to come and say that he has no apology, that Sokoto State is a Muslim state. Even if it is a Muslim state, you can't put it before people and say, this my state is a Muslim state.
But amid these remarks you are talking about, the same...
No, you have not allowed me...
No, amid these remarks talking about, the same governor of Rivers State had also gone to the north, to make some interventions. He went to Kaduna, doled out, millions of naira to support victims. He also went to Sokoto, and he was accepted when he donated about 500 million naira.
Wait, when the market that is beside the point. Let me finish my point. Then I will come to those areas you have made. Now, the last point, which I intend to make, is that when he was addressing a group of traditional rulers in Rivers, there was a particular traditional ruler which he lambasted and said he's shaking his head was a fake. It was a video that is trending at his... and then in that same video, he said, look at this man, you are wearing an Usman Danfiodo cap, so forth, and so forth. And then finally, the issue of this VAT. What he said is that the VAT issue is that how can people who are not taking beer be benefiting from the process of beer? Of course, it could be true, but you know, it is offending the sensibilities of a particular section of the country. So it does not remove the fact that the people will now take it personal. Now, coming to your point, that he went to Kaduna and gave 200 million, went to Sokoto and gave 500.
Because I'm wondering why, you know, the North, according to you, feels offended by certain remarks he made on one hand, and on the other hand, they are accepting his largesse.
No, when you go and make donations are things that you do. He has, before he even went to Sokoto or Kaduna, he has gone to Benue. He has given 200 million to Otom, Benue State. So it is his large heart to donate money. Now, donating money does not mean that people will not take offense. For if you slap me, the fact that you slap me and you come and donate money to my community.
I just think that maybe his good should also count, you know, when making certain critical decisions, such as the one
this is politics. We are talking about.
Well,
let's come to Wale now. You know, a lot of considerations are needed in politics. You have to weigh a lot of things, some of which we have, you know, just looked at just now. You have to weigh your chances and work with someone who you know has a certain capacity to be able to get votes from a region that you're looking for votes for. And that the thrust of this is Okowa the man that you believe has that political structure that can garner the votes of, you know, the southern people, the people from the south and southeast for Atiku and for your party?
Thank you, Sename. There couldn't have been a better choice than Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. And my reasons are not too far-fetched. Like he said when he made his opening remarks, Dr. Okowa is a silent achiever. But I took notice of him by virtue of what I do, you know. I was assisting a friend who was vying for the governorship in Osun 2018, you know, so we needed to put up a development master plan for the state, you know. And guess where I found a document we could, as it were, copy from? Delta State. That document remains one of the best development master plans for any state in Nigeria. Quote me. I'm a management consultant. I deal with that. Now, that's for a state government to have put that together, that triggered, you know, inquiry in my mind as to the kind of person Dr. Okowa, you know, is. So I began to do my own research and follow the state. I think on your television they have a daily program, you know,
a weekly program.
A weekly program, you know. So I began to monitor closely, and I was amazed at the giant strides that Dr. Okowa's administration has made in the lives of the people of Delta State. It's been a transformational, you know, government. I make bold to say that. But beyond the government, the person. Now, because nominating someone or selecting someone to be a vice presidential candidate, at the end of the day, boils down to the decision, not just the party, but critically the candidate, the presidential candidate. Who am I, you know, best suited to work with? Who has the best, you know, skill set to complement me? It's a complementary role. We don't need, it's not a team of rivals. It's a team where you have, you know, the boss, we call it principal, and then your able lieutenant amongst other lieutenants. Now, if you unveil the mask on who Dr. Okowa is, a first-class genius, as it were. This guy graduated as a medical doctor, barely in his 22 years old, you know, and then he went straight into politics. Like he was trying to say, he became secretary of a council. He won councillorship and became secretary of the local council. Then he became local government chairman. He held commissionership positions, 3 or 4 different, you know, ministries in Delta State, becoming SSG, becoming senator, before he's now become 2-term governor of the state. You don't achieve all of that by a stroke of luck. You've got to have earned those positions. For a governor to have appointed you commissioner for 4 different ministries and appoint you SSG supervising those ministries, you've got to have something. For the Delta people to have voted, because if you say those other positions were appointments, he won his seat as senator. So Delta people in that senatorial district trusted him. And then just one term as a senator, he won governorship in 2015. Delta people trusted him, and then they gave him, was re-elected. Now, what specific skill sets makes him suitable as vice president? You know, when I was thinking about the choice, of course, I've been a part of the Atiku campaign committee and all of that, you know, so it's always been the on the top of the short list. And for me, the main consideration is zero drama. Zero drama. And guess what? When the president was at His Excellency Atiku was making his unveiling speech at Wadata Plaza, he made that phrase was there, without drama. You need a vice president that will not bring drama into the administration. The second person in the running was His Excellency Governor Wike. Excellent guy, you know, great guy, energetic, vibrant, a people person and all of that. But for me, you know, it would not be a perfect complement to His Excellency Atiku Abubakar. So Dr. Okowa is a silent achiever. He gets the job done without fuss, without drama, without unnecessary acrimony. You don't want a vice president who's going to be taking on, you know, making fights with maybe ministers or police or the IG or the chief of this or no. Just put your head down and get the job done. And let me also say this. I've read a few commentary out there about the vice president's role being almost useless or worthless. You know, that's a lie, because it's one of the positions that is recognized in the Constitution. He chairs the National Economic Council. Not only that, he also chairs the board of NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency, chairs the board of the National Boundary Commission, chairs another agency called Boundary Development Commission Agency, chairs the board of the Niger Delta Power Development Agency. So how do you say...
wields a lot of influence.
How do you say a VP with such a remit, you know, oversight over such critical agency is a lack?
Gentlemen, I like we all do, I'm sure we all monitor the recently concluded APC Special Convention and presidential primaries. And we saw how the immediate past Minister of Science and Technology, Obonaya Onu, spoke so passionately, you know, raising serious questions about the place of equity and fairness in Nigeria's political landscape. Looking at the PDP presidential ticket going into next year's presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president from the Northeast. We have Ifeanyi Okowa, vice presidential candidate from the South-South. Some Nigerians, you know, at this time are asking, just like Obonaya Onu, where the place of justice is, you know, in the emergence of Atiku Abubakar and Okowa. Where is justice for the people of the Southeast region in all of this?
Brilliant, Tinabeso, brilliant. In the first place, I mean, Ifeanyi Chukwu does not sound to me like Olawale, and it doesn't sound to me like Haruna or Sani. Ifeanyi Chukwu is an Igbo name. So, Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Okowa, Arthur Okowa, is an Igbo man.
From the South-South?
Who merely...
It's from an Igbo-speaking community in the South-South region of Nigeria.
He's an Igbo man who happens by geography, by state creation, was created into Delta. See, Asaba, Delta State and Anambra State is only divided by a bridge. I've been there. So you can't say Wike is not an Igbo man because he's in Rivers. So the point is this. I was one of those who campaigned vigorously for the PDP to throw open the ticket. Why? Pragmatism. You know, you've got to win an election before you start talking about zoning and all of that. Now, in hindsight, how I wish, and you know, former governor of Old Anambra Street, what's his name now, Jim Obodo, came out just last week that he wished Mr. Peter Obi hadn't left the PDP because it would have been a no contest. If he had gone into the primaries and maybe lost, you know, he would have been a no contest. The clamor for him to have been chosen as a VP, you know, to Atiku would have been a no-brainer. I supported that ticket 2019, and I was desperately hoping for a repeat of that ticket. But it turned out, you know, it didn't even go for the primaries. It's gone to Labour. We could talk about the viability of the Labour project and all of that. But the point is this, Tinabeso, the the die is cast already. So crying over spilled milk, you know, is not going to do any favors. The PDP made the best decision in the circumstance, you know, by choosing His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Okowa. Like my brother analyzed brilliantly, Ifeanyi Okowa is going to deliver this. See, the Southeast and the South-South used to be strongholds for the PDP. Now, with the pulling out of a Peter Obi into Labour, that's going to give us a lot of, you know, challenge in the Southeast. But at least we still retain our stronghold in the South-South. Even though the fact that Peter Obi is on the ticket of a political party that hasn't got any structure, I know Nigerians don't like to hear that, but that's the reality. Because let me tell you what I think about the Labour Party. I see it as more or less a cult of personality. What's the result from Ekiti? Ekiti should give us a sign of what's coming in 2023. You know, where was the party? I think they scored 195 votes in Ekiti Guba elections. So you don't have anybody who is a House of Rep member, no senator, no governor.
Nigerians, but Nigerians, young Nigerians are saying they want to build the structure now.
The same young Nigerians,
because the existing structure has not helped them in any way.
Young Nigerians that were selling their votes openly on television, that you and I have seen all those viral
that all the parties were buying. That all the parties
were paying. Why are they collecting the monies?
Why should the party induce?
Yes.
These are the questions we have, germane questions we have to ask ourselves. No one, I don't think at this point, when Nigerians are desperately in need of a change, I mean a real change this time, for people to still be able to say, sell me your votes and not bat an eyelid at that. The truth is that a lot of people are impoverished and will most likely go for it because it will save them for that day. However, that does not make it right. And it doesn't make both the seller and the buyer any better than the other. But what we actually need is better. Tiana Beso said something earlier. Nigerians, politicians are saying Labour Party doesn't have a structure. But a lot of Nigerians, young Nigerians, are supporting the candidacy of Peter Obi, even though it's on the platform of a Labour Party, of the Labour Party. Still, a lot of Nigerians are saying, this is where our votes will go. That poses a challenge for the PDP in the Southeast. That has divided, the South between Peter Obi and Okowa. Also, the southwest part, which, many believe that the APC have because of the personality of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it's like the PDP right now doesn't have the south to itself.
That is, when you say that, you make me laugh. Because the fact that some people are making noise on social media does not in itself translate into votes. Now, people are not making noise in the Southwest. But Southwest is going to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. And nobody can contest that. But nobody is making noise that it will have to go to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. But at the end of the day, it is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu that will win the Southwest. There is no doubt about that. Now, the fact that people are making that noise is because people have been engaged with so many rhetorics that are very sweet. And so they believe and appreciate those.
So are you saying the PDP cannot make inroads in the Southwest in 2023 and clinch victory?
I'm a PDP man. I do not even have any hope in the Southwest because there is a Bola Tinubu on the ballot. So, like I said earlier on.
What about Southeast? Do you have hope for in the Southeast?
I have
Why?
Hope because our soldiers on ground are as strong as any other person, and I'm sure they can deliver. The fact that Peter Obi is from the Southeast does not remove the fact that PDP can win certain states in the Southeast, because there are certain states that PDP is like a religion. You cannot go against the tide. And in those states, it is difficult for you to change the narrative in that state. No matter how strong you are, certain people will make noise. But at the end of the day,
so which states are we talking about where the PDP have, where you think PDP has a stronghold?
In the Southeast.
Which regions? Yeah.
For your information, the PDP has never lost any election in the Southeast at the presidential level. No state in the Southeast has the PDP ever lost any election.
What about the South-South?
It's the same thing. Even when Oshomole who was fighting us was governor. We won Edo State. So PDP has the 11 states around that area are predominantly PDP. And so even if you are going to lose your potency in a particular place, you don't just lose your potency completely. You retain something. So you don't lose just like that. This campaign is an ongoing process, and this process has 7 months to go. So social media campaigns will give way to real life campaigns. And when real life campaigns begins, the difference will be clear, just like this.
All right, well,
it means that you're not concerned at all about the fact that, there are a lot of Nigerians who are very willing to support the candidacy of Peter Obi, for example, because of course you won't deny the fact that the southeastern part of the country had been hoping that the ticket for the presidential candidate would have gone to the southeast, and when that didn't happen, it made them feel disenfranchised and denied. So are you not concerned that this demography of people are going to influence, so to speak, the votes that will go to whether the PDP or the Labour Party, as it were?
Well, I'm very sympathetic to the Southeast. And even if you remember at the last discussion we held here, I even stated it, that the Southeast needs to be considered. And our presidential candidate has even made an offer that if the party will microzone to Southeast, he's ready to step down. So you can see that the consideration is not even mine. It is a well-informed consideration that the Southeast deserves that position. Now, coming back to what Ogbonnaya Onu said on the rostrum at the APC president, I believe that he was also a part of the problem of the Southeast, because he had an opportunity when he was in the APP, All People's Party, before it became All Land. He surrendered his ticket. He was the one who was elected in Kaduna as the presidential candidate of the APP, but he surrendered his own ticket to ANPP alliance, where Olufalaye and Umaru Shinkapi were the presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. So if you surrender your ticket, which will have gone ahead to give an Igbo presidency, and now you come out this time and begin to lament on that, I think you are also part of the problem.
All right. In 2015, there were reports that some persons within the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, worked against the party in that election, just because the presidential ticket at that time did not go to a certain region. I'm sure the people of the Southeast feel the same way at this point in time. What's the party doing? What's its presidential candidates, its VP candidates doing to assuage the pains of those who may have been left out in this whole arrangement?
Thank you. Alhaji Sani said something very instructive, and I don't want us to gloss over it. The way votes are garnered in Nigeria during elections is not the way it is presumed to be on social media. You heard Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi come out openly to say nobody in Ebonyi is voting for Labour Party, but APC. Because in my study, the governors are so powerful, they control the voters. And anybody who controls the voters controls the votes. And like he also said, both the South and the Southeast are traditional PDP strongholds. I can't wait to see what would happen at the presidential level, in 2023. PDP is going to do very well. Enugu is a PDP state. Abia is a PDP state. What others?
Even Ebonyi.
Ebonyi, you decamped. What you talked about, people playing, undermining the party from within, that is what we are praying to happen as PDP in the APC. Let me say this, even though we didn't get to talk about it. Any Nigerian contemplating, not even going ahead to, any Nigerian who is contemplating to vote for APC to come back in 2023 needs serious psychological evaluation. That's my honest to God opinion, because where we are now in comparison to where we were in 2014, you know, it's unbelievable. The negative regression, the way we've regressed as a nation, as individuals, it's unbelievable. And, you know, on this Peter Obi thing, you know, the way we're going about this Peter Obi thing also is also reminiscent of the way Nigerians were going in 2014, 2015 about a certain president, Muhammadu Buhari. You know, this messianic, you know, complex. There's no Messiah coming anywhere. The salvation of Nigeria is going to be about a team of people that will rescue this country. The PDP presents the best platform of that team to save this country from the misgovernance.
I'm sure this socio-political reawakening is as a result of the fact that the people, particularly young Nigerians, have seen much of the PDP and they have seen much of the APC as well.
Can they compare the years of the PDP with the years of the APC?
It does appear that Nigeria itself has not gained much from these
personalities
platforms. But then we want to say a very big thank you to you for finding time to be part of Kakaki, the African Voice this morning. PDP chieftain Umaru Sani, and of course a member of the party, Wale Oluwade. Thank you, gentlemen, for finding time to be here this morning.
All right, gentlemen, it is with this conversation that we're going to also call it a wrap on today's edition of Kakaki, the African Voice. We want to thank you also for choosing to be a part of it from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Thank you for your time. I am Senami Ohiamokai.
And I am Tena Beso of BBA. The program returns on Tuesday.